Welcome to Uncaged on the talkSPORT MMA YouTube channel. I'm Adam Catterall. It is a pleasure as always to be back in your company. Please like and subscribe to the channel so therefore you never miss out on any of our MMA content. And he's back. That's right. This is it seems to be this week a coming together of Mancunian minds, Mancunian brothers reuniting, and he's fresh off a plane for a wee bit of a chat about a fantastic victory at the weekend, heading towards yet another PFL final, the one and only Mr. Brendan Loughnane. All right, kid, couldn't resist. I had to do it, mate. I had to chuck it in. How are you?
It's a legendary weekend, Adam. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when it dropped. But we will be there, won't we? By hook or crook, we will find the way, won't we, Adam?
Mate, every single young person up and down the country who have never seen Oasis live are currently trotting around their living room with a big parker on. They're all getting their new haircut. They've got the shades on, giving it the old Kevin and Perry. Everybody's adopted a Mancunian accent. Everybody wants to be Northern now, man. This is it.
So what do you reckon? Do you reckon the skin, or they finally just put it all together? What do you reckon?
I don't think the skin, mate. I think they've done all right for themselves, haven't they, them boys? But I think, the lure of the best part of, 300 million quid? I think that's basically gone, yeah, go on then, Sal. I'll go and stand on a stage here and play my guitar, no bother whatsoever. Let's rock and roll.
Let's put it to bed, lad. There's big dough on the line. That's what's gone on, isn't it?
That's it. Listen, you're going to have to now use an Oasis track for the walkout for the final, mate. It's going to have to be done.
I can't change it, mate. I can't. It's like Brendan and Chasing Status. It just goes, doesn't it? It wore it in my last final. I've had it since I was about 17 years old. I can't now, Adam. I can't, mate. Not even for Oasis.
Maybe just a little mashup. Maybe I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to get onto the Boys Chasing Status, and maybe they can do some type of remix of it and chuck in a little bit. I don't know, a little bit of Slide Away or something like that. Get that involved in your tune. Maybe we could do that.
No. Well, yeah, I'll take that one definitely. No, I think that's a good idea, definitely. Especially with, I don't know, my second PFL world title final. I can't believe it. It's mad. I remember when I was just looking at the paperwork saying, should have signed for this company, shouldn't have signed for this company. And now I'm about to do it all over again in Saudi. Can't wait.
It has been a little bit of a mad ride because off the back, before we talk about the performance and obviously heading towards the second PFL final, in between the first PFL final that you made and now the second PFL final that you made, you obviously had a bit of a dark space where you suffered a loss, mate. Talk to me about that time, because I know that you were having a proper conversation with yourself about, is that it? Shall we do it? Shall we rock and roll? But it seemed to last a nanosecond before you were back on the train hurtling towards this year's competition.
Well, it weren't just a conversation I was having with myself. I had it with you. I had it with a few people, did I? I was like, yeah, sack this off now. Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to ride off into the sunset and then just chill. I don't know what it is. It was the competitive edge inside me. It was the fact that I knew I weren't done. The fact that I didn't want my topology to just end on a red, and Brendan just lost the fight and then never came back. I don't know what it is, but I just remember taking the time off, dealing with it in my head that I weren't going to do it again. Then it all started coming back around, and I remember PFL letting me know, saying, look, you've got 24 hours to let you know. Let us know if you want to be in the tournament or not. And I remember just staying up all night thinking, am I doing it? Am I not doing it? And now, here we are, a few months away from the final, and I'm over the moon that I chose that yes, because if I'd have chose no, I'd be kicking myself right now.
Here's one for you, and this is not to blow smoke. Would you say the performances so far in this round of competition compared to the performances last time around are actually more conclusive from your point of view?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way of putting it, actually. Like, I feel like, the first year when I did it, or when I first won it, I was like, right, I need to win this. It's $1 million. It's a world title. Yeah. This is everything to me. There was a lot of pressure on it. But now, I didn't really care. I just went in there like, got the belt. The belt's there. It's going nowhere. Got the money in the bank. I'm just going to have a fucking good laugh with this year. I'm just going to fight and see how it goes. And there's just no pressure. Just been going in there and enjoying martial arts. I got to fight good guys. I got good opponents. That also led to me being in good fights this year. World-class knockouts, back and forth, striking exchanges. A bit of controversy mixed in there with Pedro. It's been a perfect season. I've enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, it felt the first time around that maybe you were fighting slightly within yourself because of the prize.
Yeah.
This time around, because now, the world knows. Yeah. The world knows what the crack is. you feel like a free mixed martial artist where you're just going in there and having the time of your life.
That's what it was. There was no pressure. I didn't like even certain things where I feel it on the day, like a bit nervous and all that. All that's just gone out the window, and I just fighting totally free. And each opponent has led to good fights this year. I've had predominantly strikers, so it's led to putting on good fights and enjoyable fights, and ones where I come out like, yeah, that was a scrap. That because I've been out of fights before where, i.e., we were talking about Movlead and people like that, where I get taken down. And I'm out of the fight like, oh, I didn't really get to have a fight. Whereas this year I got 3 opponents that actually came to have a fight. So it was fantastic. And I mean, to win this thing twice, you have to be a special type of human, man. To win 4 fights in 7 months, back to back, that's 8 fights consecutive. To win 2 world titles, it's fantastic. I'm proud of myself. I am, Adam, and I'm looking forward to the final.
Well, we'll talk final in a minute. Let's talk semi-final performance.
Yeah.
Because, listen, I was super impressed with Khizriev after the first round, because the first round is very, very nip and tuck for about 3.5 minutes. Yeah. And then you go into you. It felt to me that there was a period of time where you're just trying to figure out the range.
Yeah.
And then you did that lovely spinning back kick that you do. It landed, and then it felt like, right, I know where he is now. I know exactly where you are. And then there was a nice long right hand, and away we go. And I genuinely thought that those knees to the head were taking him out. I think if you got another 30 seconds in that round, you probably get the finish, because they were brutal things. I've got to take my hat off to Kai, because he came back in the second round and he asked a couple of questions over the next 10 minutes. I genuinely thought he was done after the first 5.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Yamasaki was
he loves a fight, doesn't he? He loves a fight.
I think a lot of other refs would have maybe stopped it. Am I mad that he didn't stop it? Absolutely not. I was enjoying the fight. I was like, yeah, let's carry on. The knees were horrible. The ground and pound to back it up was horrible. But I had to pull away then. There was still another 5 seconds or something, because I thought, you're not going to stop this, and I'm going to gas trying to finish him. So I pulled back. And I think it was evident in the first half of the second round that I was a bit tired from going for the finish. Then I started to gain more momentum again. But you can't take nothing away from Kai. Kai brought his best game on the night. And when it started coming down to the third, the nip and tuck, and I had the whole chat with Tony Musa in the corner, like, do you want to win this? Yeah. Then I had to go and find a 3rd gear, 4th gear, and then the 5th gear came out, and I started to run away in the last round.
Listen, it was a superb fight. For people that haven't watched it, what you're doing, why are you even tuning into our channel if you've not watched this fight? Go and have a check of it out. It's a fantastic 15 minutes between him and Khizriev. At the end, I was a little bit perplexed by the split decision. I personally scored it. I'll be dead honest with you. I scored it 29-28 in your favour. And therefore, obviously, you move on into the final with Khizriev, of which I think you know what you're getting in the final, don't you?
Listen, mate, I've been putting my wrestling shoes on and my earmuffs, and I've been getting with Frank Hickman every day and scrambling around the place. But that man has shown me a lot of holes in his last performance, a lot of holes. And I'm a prolific finisher. And if you show me them holes, I will finish you. Braga, Braga was a split decision. Like, I actually was watching the fight in between warming up, and from what I was seeing, Braga was really putting it on him. I need to go back and watch it with my coaches. But there were certain opportunities there where I wouldn't have missed. I would have sprawled, and I would have really stuck it on him when he was tired in between them transitions. So look forward to watching the fight back with Braga and putting it on this kid and showing everyone, listen, 18-0, I don't care. You're fighting 30-5. Someone with a wealth of experience at this level, and I can't wait to show him the levels.
Before we move on from you and this competition, I'm just going to blow a little bit of smoke for people that are tuning in, right? Because there's a lot of people that will tune into our channel, and they'll be UFC heavy. And every now and again, because it's you, they'll dip into the PFL, and maybe because it's Dakota, they'll dip in, and various other bits and bats they'll dip in. Look at this man's record, right? Absolutely ridiculous. Yes, it looks... People look at this and they'll see the 5 losses. Look at the 5 losses. 3 of them are split decisions. This man has wars in that smart cage, inside that octagon. He is 1 knockout victory, and who knows, it might come in the final. 1 knockout victory from equaling the great Michael Bisping when it comes to English mixed martial artists with MMA knockouts. I don't think anybody's going to catch Paul Daly. Semtex, you've got that. I don't think anybody's going to get you. But, mate, imagine if you can do that in the final. I know you're not going to be thinking about it. You're going to be thinking about the performance. You're going to do the performance as it plays out in your head. But how to put another $1 million on the mantelpiece, another belt around your waist, and to equal Bisping's stoppage record. Wow, man, that'd be pretty special, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. And you know what? Like, I've been around the block a few times. That record, 30-5, 7-0 amateur. I had 3 on the Ultimate Fighter. I'm touching 50 fights now, Adam. I've been around the block against some of the best fighters in the world.
They're the legal ones, mate. They're the legal ones.
I know. I've been around, like, even now, like, I just had a complete war. And I feel like I could fight again. I don't know. I'm made of something different. Maybe they make us different in Manchester. They might put something in the water. I don't know what it is. But I feel like I could fight again tomorrow. Honestly, it's mad. I'm just built for tournaments now. You touched on the UFC thing. It's like, yeah, fight once, have a month off, then get back into camp. Probably fight twice a year, 3 times if you're extremely lucky. PFL are like, yeah, scrap that. We're fighting 4 times in 7 months. Yeah. And I couldn't go back to conventional fighting now. I just enjoy this type of fighting. I've made the most of it, Adam. And what a way to top off this PFL madness with 2 belts, and then we see where we go from there, don't we?
We do indeed, mate. And listen, it could be a fantastic night because not only yourself in that final, Dakota in that final as well on hers. It could be a special night for Mancunian MMA, let's just say.
Yep.
There you go. In the, obviously, aftermath of that, I've no doubt that you went off celebrating. By the way, just on that, when you were giving your post-fight interviews, listen, Carissa Maxwell, I know Carissa, yeah? You absolutely savaged her in the post-fight interview. When she asked you a question, she said, Brendan, great victory. How are you going to go about celebrating tonight? You can't respond to somebody by saying, I'd have to kill you. I can't tell you, mate. I'm going to have to kill you.
Oh, God. I was caught in the hype.
North Americans don't get sarcasm. They don't get that. They don't get that, right? She genuinely thinks that you meant it, right?
Adam, don't, mate. I don't know what was going on. Listen, I was caught in the hype, and I was thinking, I probably would have to kill you if you have to tell you what I was about to do in this after party. That's just a proper Manx saying, isn't it? Like, the proper Northern. If I told you I'd have to kill you, just as a laugh, but wow, she parts right up like, what did you just say? And I was like, oh, fuck it, it's too late now. I'm walking off already. You know what I mean?
With a beer in his hand. Gone. See you in a bit.
Listen, it was already like 1:30 in the morning. I had a full after party planned. I'm like, you want me doing loads of media? Let me out of here. Do you know what I mean?
Got to be done. After the after party and after maybe the plane ride home, did you manage to catch any of the UFC from the Apex where Kyle Barallo put on a career best performance so far against Jiri Prochazka?
Do you know what? That Kyle Barallo, what a lovely fella. I mean, we're pretty connected because of the whole block asset thing and Boyle and everyone through there. So I've spent quite a bit of time with him recently. What a lovely fella, man. Like, that guy is one of the nicest guys in the sport. So happy to be. He's on a mad win streak now. Couldn't happen to a better person. And like you say, he's very clogged up in that division now, isn't it? Like we were just talking about it off air. I mean, who gets the next shot? Where are we at with it, Adam?
Well, what I think we've needed for a little period of time is that fresh face to come through. And I know that it's been a bit like a hot potato, that belt, hasn't it? Obviously, Izzy loses to Sean Strickland. Nobody saw that coming. Sean Strickland becomes champion. DDP takes it off him. And then we have a great back and forth between Izzy and DDP for the championship. So we've now got a champion that is defending titles. So there's a bit of regularity at the top end. I think most people would conclude that Robert Whittaker, Khamzat Chimaev, if Khamzat makes it to the octagon, and fingers crossed he does, we need him to see him fight. I think that is going to be the next. After Sean, I think Sean's going to get a shot once again against Dricus du Plessis, that rematch. And then I think Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev will be then the next in line off the back of that. But we need those guys that are, let's say, 5 to 10 or even a little bit further down to start making some noise, start making some waves. And Kaio's been that guy that has bubbled under nicely. This was his moment against Jiri Prochazka to put in a performance against the serial contender. Show me what you're all about. Very close fight, I thought, through 4 rounds. Round number 5 comes along and he just rubber stamped it. He went through the gears and I genuinely thought he'd knocked him out. I actually think he wakes him up with the ground and pound, mate. I think if he walks away, referee would wave that off and it's a stoppage victory. I personally go Kyle Barallo next, with Israel Adesanya. Let's go.
Oh,
Let's see what happens.
what a naughty fight that is, isn't it, though? Like, yeah, you caught me with that one because I didn't even expect you to say that. And you know what? That's after what's just happened with Izzy, the whole DDP thing. He needs a comeback fight. He needs to beat a contender, someone he's not fought before. Because Izzy as well has fought everyone in that top 10, and in that top 5. He's very clogged up around there. Why not take on the new kid on the block and see where you're at? Let's see if this is really you anymore, or let's see if this new kid is the new kid on the block. Let's see if he's really that guy. Because there's nothing like beating Israel Adesanya to prove you are that guy.
What's do you know when a fighter tries to beat another fighter at their own game? That's a mental statement, isn't it? That's me basically saying I don't even need to do the thing that I'm best at to beat you. The reason why I'm bringing that up is obviously Kyle decides to fight 25 minutes on the feet with Jiri Prochazka. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, mate. He could quite easily have taken it down and grappled at some point in the fight.
I think John Jones started that whole trend. He used to literally take you into your own place, into your own home, and destroy you at whatever you were good at. It was just, I think he was that sick in his head. He thought, yeah, I ain't gonna even show you that I can beat you where you're the best. And he started that trend, and now it seems to be a thing. It's like an alpha thing. It's like, yeah, what, you're a good striker, are you? I'm going to prove it. And seems to be happening more and more now. And I mean, Barrio, fantastic striking, like you say, for someone that's known to be a jiu-jitsu guy. I think he really put the world on notice. He really did. And what a likable fella. What great with the media. Does everything perfect. I think he's the new star.
Yeah, I agree. Top fella. Listen, he is very good at Muay Thai as well. But like I said, his background is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, sensational, and it's great to see another contender coming through in the middleweight division. He's heading towards that title in some way, shape, or form. It'd be really interesting if they match him up with Israel Adesanya next. As you look at that division, and maybe the other divisions in the UFC, what would you say is the... There is no easy division. This is the wrong word that I'm using. Or where would you see the path of least resistance? That's how I'll phrase it. The path of least resistance to the title across all the divisions.
Well, there's two that stand out for me, just due to the data. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've got to look at the data. You've got to look at the flyweight division, the men's flyweight division. Steve Ercik walking into a title shot rank. Was he number 10 at the time, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay. Has that happened before in any other division? I know that might get you there in that one, but I can't see that being a thing, really. That's happened before. 10's a long way down from 1. You know what I mean? So for that to happen, that just shows that division has a bit of give in the division, whereas Islam Makhachev is not fighting number 10 anytime soon, is he? Let's have it right. And I would call that the most competitive, the strongest division. Another one that stands to mind is Kayla Harrison. She's probably fighting for the belt next, isn't she, after one fight? If she's not fighting for the belt, it's going to only be 2 fights. There's not many divisions where you can walk in and have 1 win and then go for a title shot. So I'd say women's, what weight is that, the 45 or the 35? She's fighting at 35 now, isn't she? She was 45 in the PFL. So women's 35 and men's 25. And I'd say the most competitive, strongest division is most certainly men's 155, in my opinion.
She's 45. She was fighting 55 in PFL, wasn't she? That was the big thing.
She's 35 now, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, she was 55 in the PFL. She never done 45 in the PFL, no. Oh, no, she didn't, did she? She went down 2 divisions. Wow.
Do you know something? On the men's flyweight division, I think we've got a really good champion in Alexandre Pantoja. But he's wiped out all the contenders multiple times, hasn't he? So therefore, exactly what you just said. I think if you're half decent in the flyweight division and you're putting a couple of runs together and you're ranked within that, even between 5 and 15, there's a high chance that you're going to get some type of shot. I know we've got Al Bazi waiting there. Kai Kara France has just put a fantastic knockout in his last fight. But you're probably right. The path of least resistance to the title will probably be men's flyweight, because I think if you look around everywhere else, there's some deep, deep divisions there. Like you just said, 155 is horrible.
Yeah, well, I think another thing you've got to take into consideration is not many people on planet Earth had to walk around anywhere near 57 kilo. Like, you've got to just take in the law of averages and what an average male human is. Do you know what I mean? So they're obviously going to have the least amount of fighters because it's an unheard of weight for a full-grown man, really, like around 57 kilo. So, I mean, you've got to weigh up that sort of stuff too. But just to touch on a previous point, Kai Kara France, what is it? How many first-round knockouts, Adam?
You've caught me on the hop.
No, come on, you must know this. Come on, it's sure it's like 13.
It's a very high percentage of his overall wins. Mate, it is math. It's gigantic the amount of first round knockouts he's got. Yeah,
for a man that size to knock 13, 14, whatever it is, anything over 10 people out in the first round is insane. And Steve Ercek started that fight brilliantly on the jab. I thought, wow, it's a tricky customer. And overhand right, overhand left, that shift that he does, amazing. I think Kai Kara France really is what that flyweight division needs at the minute. I really think so.
Here's a path of least resistance to the title in the UFC. What about light heavyweight? Alex Pereira's dominating. We've now got Khalil Rountree fighting for a championship at UFC 307. I think it's a great fight. I really do. I know people will be out on it because maybe they all anticipated Magomed Ankalaev to be getting that title shot. Yeah. And I agree. I think he should have got the title shot. But I think Khalil will throw the kitchen sink. I think it's going to be chaos. I genuinely think it will be absolute carnage, that fight.
Yeah, mate. I love the way Khalil Rountree spent a year in Thailand. The next thing he starts doing all this now. I think it makes for a great fight with Pereira, like real explosive strikers. And in the year of upsets, you never know, Adam. This could be the next one.
Stranger things have happened, mate. Who would have seen Sean Strickland come through and beat Israel Adesanya when he got his shot? Everybody was like, I can't believe that he's getting the shot. This is ridiculous. And then he beats Israel Adesanya.
What about DDP beating absolutely everyone?
Listen, Khalil has got the game and he's on a hot streak and he's got his tail up. He's got a bit of confidence about him to maybe pull that off. I'm not saying he will. I'm not putting money on it, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's the UFC, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great fight on paper. Two absolutely wild strikers, technical strikers. Definitely the best fight he could have made at the moment. I mean, Ankalaev, great fighter, but you know, if I'm a fight fan and I'm saying what fight do I want to see, it's definitely Rountree over Ankalaev. What about yourself?
Yeah. I'd agree. I feel for Ankalaev. Listen, he's got a great fight coming up in Abu Dhabi, hasn't he? But I do feel for him because he should have been next. He should have been getting
I agree.
Opportunity. Whilst we're talking about that particular division, what do you make of the noise that Jiri Prochazka is talking about maybe having a little go at 185? He's looking at Dricus. I think everybody looks at Dricus du Plessis and say, how's it? How? I'm going down. Because I reckon I could do it.
But even Bilal's talking about going up to fight him. Everybody wants a piece of DDP, don't they?
It's wild. Listen, I get it. Aesthetically, you look at it, you're thinking, how is it work? But it's working, right? I'm no longer ever going to doubt that man again because whatever he's doing, it's working, and he's got a massive set of stones on him. If you're Jiri Prochazka, though, you can understand him saying, let's see if I can do a 185 cut. Let's see if I can get down there.
It's like his DDP. It's like he's losing every second of every fight until he's not. Like, it's absolutely insane. I mean, oh my God. What was Dana White's quote? He looks like a white guy dancing. What was it, Adam?
That's exactly it. That's exactly. He fights like a white guy dances.
Like, come on, Dana. I've got to give you that one liner. That is a belter. But it's exactly what we're all seeing. We're all trained eyes. We're all trained martial artists, and we're watching it going, none of this is making sense. But sometimes things just don't make sense today, and that's what we're witnessing. And I think Yuri's looked around the division and thought, hang on a minute, I either need to cut my left arm off and get down to the weight below, or no title shots are coming around here anytime soon. So he's taking that way, so we'll see how it works out for him.
That's what it feels like to me. It feels like he's had a couple of cracks at Alex Pereira and he's thinking,
Yeah.
This is going to be difficult for me to become champion once again. So again, that phrase that I keep using on the show today, the path of least resistance, I think he's looking at that and thinking, there's an opportunity to become champion once again. It happens, doesn't it? You know, you run into a couple of defeats, which is something that's unusual for you. He's not used to experiencing this. And he's looking for that catalyst. He's looking for that thing to get him back on the horse again. Because if he stays at 205, he's got contender fights to go through, hasn't he? There's people coming through, as we've just been speaking. Ankalaev is probably going to be before him. Then you've got Jan Blachowicz, who'll probably want to get close to it once again. You've got Khalil Roundtree getting the shot. So he's at least 2 away, isn't he? Whereas, you know, he could be a viable opponent if he can get down to 185. That'll be a chaos fight if they ever did make it.
I mean, it's like some of the names that you've just mentioned there, like, I think if I was him, I think I would definitely be cutting the weight off Adam. I think I would definitely be sat in the sauna now thinking, right, I've got to get this weight off ASAP because murderers roll up there. And like you said, he's not had the greatest success against Prev. I don't think he would beat Prev if he fought 100 times over, mate. I'll be honest with you. So I think it's definitely the right move for his career. Let's see. You know what? It just when we talk about going down in weights, it's always a tricky decision for me because it's like if you've had success at a weight and been champion, you've obviously made it work there. Then you get on this diet and everything's different, mate. Like, you know, the people that you used to beat in grappling, they beat you in the wrestling and you're just not as strong. And it's a really, really difficult thing mentally to go down a weight class. And a lot of people are talking about jumping up and down at the minute. There's been some in recent years of guys going the opposite way and having great success. Main one I can think of is like Charles Oliveira. I remember when he was at featherweight for years and he decided, I can't do it no more. And looked much better at lightweight. So there's been ways going up.
Look at Rob Whittaker, 170 and now he's at 185 and he's flying.
I think going up that way is all right, well and good. But when you go that way, it's a whole different ballgame. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah, it is a difficult thing to do. I mean, we've seen Cody Garbrandt's one that's been recently doing it, trying to go down. It didn't really work for him. I think TJ, before obviously he packed in, he was doing a very similar thing.
Yeah.
Especially in them lower weight divisions, man. It's a very difficult thing to do. And if you're taking off, I mean, between light heavyweight and middleweight, what you're referring to there, you're taking 20 pounds off there. That's a lot of weight.
20. Put that in your head, ladies and gentlemen. 20 pounds to a man that's already got abs. Work it out. Do you know what I mean?
Very difficult thing to do. Listen, before I let you crack on, have you had managed to catch up with Mohamed Mokaev? We saw this week that he is re-signed with Brave. Obviously, he made his way when he turned professional with Brave, did extremely well, and then got his opportunity to jump into the UFC. Became a top contender, and we all know the story as to what's been playing out recently. Have you managed to catch up with him?
No, we're definitely due a phone call, me and Mohamed. I mean, he's had a mad turn of events, and he had the car crash, and he's had a lot going on, hasn't he? And when it rains, it pours. So it'd be good to catch up with him, see what kind of mind frame he's in, and see where he's at.
Listen, you know what he's like. I know that it'll be bothering him, but he won't let that show, and he'll be looking to bounce into Brave. I feel for anybody that gets him first fight. That's all I'm going to say. If you get more first fight, I hope you're getting paid well, because he's coming for carnage, let me tell you.
Now, we need to get him on here, Adam. I'm going to make it my prerogative to get him on next week's show because we need to have a chat with him, don't we?
That's it. We might get taken off air, but yeah, we'll have a go. Listen, thank you very much for tuning in to us. The man is back. He delivered in the semi-final, and we're hurtling towards the final against Khizriev. 2-time PFL featherweight champion of the world incoming. We've got some big UFC nights coming up as well. Next week, we'll be talking about Gilbert Burns in the Apex, and then we'll be heading towards UFC 306 as Sean O'Malley and Mirab Dvalishvili go at it inside the Sphere in Las Vegas. Have you been keeping up to date with Mirab's social media exploits? His cuts, his garden shears to cut away his stitches, all that type of stuff. Have you been keeping up to date with it?
He is funny though, isn't he? Come on.
He's hilarious.
He's a character and a half.
He is. More on that in the upcoming weeks. Make sure you like and subscribe to the MMA YouTube channel. We'll catch you next time.